Buddy, welcome back. We are going to take a look today at sorting column headings. Now, I don't know what it is about this functionality in particular that I can't seem to remember how to do, but it's one of those things where I've had to relearn it 7 times. I don't know why. It's so and when I say sortable column headings, this is all I mean. Check it out. All right, so I've got a page here, courtesy of Atomic Fusion. Love those guys. And I've got a repeating group down here of jobs. And that's it, right? Like down, up, being able to do this. This simple functionality is such a pain in the ass. You would think that it would be easier, but it's not. It's really not that easy. Now, notice a couple things here. I've got the sort. There's a few different approaches on how to do this. The way that I'm doing it is conditionally based on a URL parameter. So you can see like job title ascending, job title descending, location ascending, location descending, open positions open ascending, open descending, right? So we're sorting alphabetically here, and we're also by numerically sorting highest to lowest on this column. So let's take a look at how to do that, right? Let's just work backwards from this end goal. And of course, throw your comments into the chat if you want me to explain something in a little more detail. Think of this like a live tutorial, I guess, while I stumble through it and fuck it up because I can just never seem to remember how to do this. I don't know what it is, but we're going to figure it out together. Okay, so let's go. I'm going to revert back to the point before I had this working correctly. I'm going to go, let's go to static headers. Okay, so you see all we've got is these static headers now. They don't do anything. If you click on them, they're just, whatever. They're just kind of there. And we want to be able to sort the data that is in these columns alphabetically for the text fields and numerically for the number fields, for the number of open positions there. All right, so let's see how we can do this. So let's pull up, let's start in the element tree. I'm going to go to group body, and the container where this information is here under group data. And I've got a repeating group here. The repeating group itself, what is the layout? It's a row layout. And I've got a group inside that repeating group, right? So group job board. And within that, that's a column layout. And then there's two row containers inside that. So the precursor to this is kind of like that you have your repeating group set up already and that you know how to add column headings and align them and things like that. I'm not going to really cover that tonight because I'm just interested in the sort. There's enough to say there. But this is yeah, like I'm not going to go into like how to create repeating groups and column headings and all that. Well, that's kind of expecting that that's done already. All right, so with that, let's take a look here, right? So we've got job title. We've got a simple text here. Let's expose this. So I'm going to go down, reveal in element tree. I use that functionality quite a bit, by the way. Reveal in element tree. And also this, select parent/child. Okay, so I've got job title. And what I'm going to do is make a clickable event out of this job title. So let's first set up this URL parameter. So I'm going to hit start and edit workflow. And then I'm going to go to navigation, go to page. Destination is going to be the same page, column heading. And we're going to send more parameters to the page. Let's call the parameter sort. Let me just explain why I like doing it this way. There's a number of different approaches that you can take when, you can use custom states for this too. But the problem is when the page reloads, you're going to lose that information. So that's why I like to use URL parameters over custom states in a lot of cases, because you can send a link to somebody and they'll see the exact same thing that you already created. The way that I kind of compare it to is Amazon. Amazon has a unique, you see how big they have this giant URL at the top, which is fugly if you're like trying to share this with somebody, but it gives you such specific information, right? So if I click on this, the URL parameter will change, and now I have a unique link. If I copy and paste this, I get the same thing. I'm still on single light, versus if I click double and I take this, I'm still on double, right? That's done because the URL is unique to almost every possible action that you can take here. So Amazon sets up that way, and I prefer that. I think that's especially if you're going to be sharing links with one another or like with other people who want your users to be able to do that. I think it's a good it's a better user experience having a unique URL for whatever possible view you can think of. So that's why I'm taking this approach. So I'm going to just very simply say, let's call this this specific sort that we're going to do is going to be job title ASC, standing for job title ascending. Whenever you're working with URL parameters, you want it all to be lowercase, and you don't want any spaces because then it's going to put a % between characters. Don't want that. Okay, so let's just see if that works. First step. All right, so scroll down, click on job title, and watch the URL up here. Boom. Sort equals job title ASC. Now what we can do is add a conditional for on the repeating group itself. So I'm going to navigate mostly through the element tree here. And let's say when get data page URL, parameter name is going to be sort, right? Referring to this sort. And I'm going to copy this so I don't have to retype it. Is job title ASC, job title ascending. Now that's the condition, but what is supposed to happen when this condition is met? So we're going to say data source, and we're going to get the the data we're getting is coming from a plugin. So we're going to actually get data from an external API. And if you've installed the Atomic Fusion data plugin, you'll get a bunch of dummy data that you could work with. It's pretty handy. I recommend it. We're going to do jobs. And then we're going to say filtered, or no, sorted by job title, and ascending is going to be, or descending is going to be no. Okay, this is the same functionality as do a search for. It's just that we're looking up to somebody else's database whenever you're getting data from an external API. Okay, so we're down. We click on this. And look, now we have an alphabetical sort for job title in particular. Now, what I want to do to complete that functionality that I showed in the beginning is be able to toggle this up and down, right? So I want UX UI on the top and then API specialist on the bottom once I click this again. Now, you can't put that in the same workflow. So I can't just keep clicking this same heading. Icon mobile menu. I meant to put that somewhere else. Icon mobile menu. Oh, okay. This is not mine. This is pre-built. Sort. So the job title. When I click this, I can't just add another uh, action here to toggle back and forth between it. It doesn't work that way. That's usually where I get messed up, where I try to add like only when the sort is this, change it to this. But the problem is that it's going to run those conditions, and one of those is going to be true. Whatever the last step in the workflow is, that's going to be the result of the change. So it doesn't work that way. So what we actually have to do is add another element for the user to click on. Now, we don't want them to see that necessarily because that's not the best user experience. If you're seeing these text elements kind of toggle back and forth, it's weird. But we're going to do it in such a way that it kind of hides that from happening. So I'm going to add another text element here in this group in my column headings, and we'll call this text job title descending. Okay. And what I'm going to do is, first off, just change this. I'm going to change some of these so it doesn't mess up my alignment. I'm going to put 0 here, 0 for the height, and we don't want to fit it to content, right? So everything should be blank here, or else your alignment will get all screwed up. All right, then what we're going to say is, let's set the workflow for this. For this is when we want to change it to the other alphabetical, right? So, and now it becomes a little bit easier because I can just copy this over and just paste that step in the workflow. I don't have to recreate everything. And I'm just going to very simply change this to DEC instead of ASC. Okay, so let's test that. Make sure that works. All right, so we've got, it's just all we're looking for here is the whether or not the URL parameter changes to the way that we want it to. All right, so job title ASC, job title DEC. Perfect. It's exactly what we want. All right, so now let's set the condition to see on the repeating group to make sure that that sort changes. We do this, a little of this. Where's my repeating group? I should be using the element tree. Okay, so we're going to add the other conditional here, define another condition. Again, I can just copy this. I don't have to keep rewriting this every time. Get sort from page URL is job DEC. And then data source, change that, copy the same thing that we did, paste it. Sorted by job title still, but we're going to change this to yes. Okay, so the effect that we should get now is that we're seeing both of these things toggle. Okay, so from down, job title, right? We got A to Z. And then this descending one is Z to A. All right, we can keep going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Now that's cool. And now also notice here that if I do this, if I copy this in the same way that I did that Amazon example before, if I copy this and paste it, it's still descending, right? Because it's looking up to the URL for the information here. If we were doing this with custom states, we would have lost that information, and you wouldn't have been able to. I wouldn't have been able to send it this way, send it to somebody. So again, it's useful for like charts and like if you want to be able to pass or send a unique URL for a specific view so that someone else can see the exact same thing that you're looking at. This is where that becomes this method becomes pretty interesting. So in sorting, I mean, that's not the biggest deal in the world, but say for example, you had a chart with specific, like looking back 2 years on something, right? Like if you wanted someone else to see exactly what you're looking at, you could send them a unique URL to that view. Very helpful in certain situations. All right, so now let's get this to stop looking weird. Let's get this on top of each other in a way that it looks like the user is just clicking the same element. Okay, so we're going to combine these two headings into one. We're actually going to put them in a group, an aligned to parent group, right? So I'm going to double click or select both of them. Just hold down Shift, and it'll select both of them. And I'm going to right click, and I'm going to group elements in an aligned to parent container. All right, and I'm going to change the name of this. We'll call this group job title header. If you have any questions, throw it in the chat. And we'll fix the stuff here. Okay. Fix our layout there. Okay. So now what we don't want, now that we have this nice and organized, we're going to go to the group job title header, and we're going to center both of these inside the align to parent container. So they're right on top of each other, taking up the same space. And then we're going to say for the job title descending, we're going to uncheck this element is visible on page load. Now, the only time we want this to be visible is when get data from page URL, sort is job title ASC, because we want this to actually change from ascending to descending, ASC. This element is visible, and we check that off. All right, so we should not see job title DEC upon page load. So let's see how that works. All right, job title, API specialist. Cool. Now that's working. Now I don't want this. I forgot to delete the edit me part. Right? If I get rid of this, the user has no idea that this is there. Oops. Preview. API specialist. What happened? This is job title ASC. Did I do it wrong? Let's see. Oh, I probably have to do a minimum height. You see how it's compressed here? Let's do it at least. Actually, let's uncheck this. Oh, that's all I needed to do was uncheck the fit height to content, because there's no content in there right now because it's blank. So it wasn't taking up any space. There we go. Now you see we have ascending, down, A to Z, and then the other way, descending, bottom up, or Z to A, I guess you could think of it. Now you can also get a little fancy with this too, which I like to do, and add some arrows and stuff in there, right? So the user can see that like this thing is clickable. Even if you have this, you can't really see any difference between this and this. This doesn't really look like you can interact with it. But for some reason, when you underline it, people seem to know that that's like something that's clickable. You can make it maybe a better color too, to indicate that there's some kind of action on this. So I like to underline it. Whenever I see something underlined, I always assume that it's a link or I can do something with it. So I'm going to underline this, and now let's add a few conditions on this text so that we can see which way we're sorting. I also want to, let's increase the size of this a little bit. It's too small. Let's increase this from 12 pixels to 18. All right, that looks better. All right, now let's get an arrow or two in there. Let's add conditional when get data from page URL. I can copy this too. Sort is job title ASC. We'll do the text job title, but let's add an up arrow to that. I think that's the. Said something like this. I think I can I grab that? What is an up arrow? Let me just grab this. Yeah. See that? I think it should be the other way. I think it should be down arrow. So let's grab a down arrow. I don't know. I always get confused with ascending and descending and what arrow you're supposed to use with it. But to me, it makes more sense if like this is top down to me, like so the arrow should be pointing down if it's like A to Z. So that's what I am going to do it. Put this here, and then I'll add another condition that says copy this, paste, job title BEC, text, and then let's get rid of the let's see how that looks now. All right, so we've got nothing. And then down, API specialist is on top, up. You can see that there's really no way for the user to know that they're clicking on a different element. I think I've got an extra space or something in the, you can see more of a space here. Yeah, that looks better. But that's cool. Like that's exactly the effect that I wanted. Nice. All right, so now let's do that a couple more times. Let's just do that on here. I guess just for practice, I guess, and to and in case anybody else is jumping on later, you could see how to do this on these other two. So we'll do another text element. But it's just interesting that this simple functionality, it takes all of this. It takes quite a bit of not like you have to have an understanding of URL parameters, of the data search, how the that you overlaying the elements. So there's quite a bit of like bubble knowledge that you would need to know in order to get this to work correctly. And it just seems like when you're starting out, like this would be something that's like, oh yeah, there's like a toggle button or something for that, and it's just not that easy. So it always gets me, and I figured like if I do this live, it's probably a good way to solidify the information in my mind, and also other people might find it helpful as well. That's why I'm doing this. All right, so let's do a text. And we'll do the same thing for our location. I think I missed the repeating group there. Let's go back. Yeah, I did. I'm trying to get it in here. Okay, so let's call this. I'm just going to copy over from my previous one that I added. So I like not doing double work. I hate doing double work. If I've done it already, I like to copy and paste, and you save yourself a lot of time that way. So let's call this job location descending. Okay, now let's add our workflows first. That's the way that I did it before, and I'm going to just try to stay consistent. Start edit workflow. And again, I'm on the header one, so I can just copy and paste this. Copy this step. Paste it here. So I built it already. And we'll do, instead of job title, we're going to change this to location. Location ascending. Same thing on the descending one. text location descending. Let's fix that. Location descending. And we will start edit workflow here. And I'll borrow this from my job title descending one. Copy. Paste. And I will change this to location DEC. Location descending. All right. So again, let's just double check that I got that right. It's easy to mess this up. It really is. It's really easy to mess one of these little things up, and then you're trying to debug what the hell is wrong. So I just check it at every step. So location ascending, good. Location descending, good. Okay, so we've got our URL parameters working correctly. Now let's add the sort part in the repeating group. So every option that the user can possibly do sort-wise needs to have its own conditional. So it's quite tedious. Let's add 2 more conditionals here. Copy, paste, get sort from page URL. Again, we're just changing this to location ASC. And copy this one, paste it down. Location DEC. Sweet. All right, and we're going to change the data source here. We'll add 2 data sources. And now what am I doing? I'm going to copy the ascending one first. Copying this down. But in this case, we're not sorting by job title anymore. We're sorting by the hiring company location. Different data type. But we don't have to change this because we already have it set up there. So then I can do the same thing for this part. Copy, paste. Except we're not sorting by job title. We are sorting by location. Okay. So that should take care of our sort. All right. So New York should be on top. Right? LMNOPQ. Yep. New York should be on top here. And then Washington should be on top when I click this. Boom. Done. It works. All right, now again, let's just fix the layout here. Let's go to this and this. Let's go here first. Let's get rid of this. 0, 0. Why does it look weird like that? It's different. It's different. It's different. I don't know. Figure it out. So I'm going to, again, just select both of these elements, both of the text there, and group elements in an align to parent container. And we'll remove this 0. We don't want to fit the width to content, and we don't want a minimum height. Okay, so now for the text elements that are inside, let's rename the group. Let's call it something. Let's call it group. I'm going to borrow from my job title header. We'll call this group location header. Location header. Okay, cool. We should have 2 text elements in there. We do. We go to layout. We center it so they're right on top of each other. So the user doesn't know that they're not clicking on the element that they think they are. And let's get rid of the edit me. And we will uncheck fit height to content. Again, we made that mistake before. I don't want to do it again. And then this should be only visible. Let's see if I can get this. Yep, I can borrow this. That one's on top, which is good. It is location ASC. This element is visible and check it off. And then we have to uncheck that this is visible on page load. All right, let's test that out. And it works. All right, we can add our arrow too if we really want to. Might as well, again, if we're going to be consistent. See this all the way through. How should I do this? How should I do this? How should I do this? What's the easiest way? Let's do this. Copy. Actually, the easiest way is to duplicate this. This is a hack, by the way. If you duplicate your editor, it's a lot easier to work with. To copy and paste expressions and stuff. You save yourself a lot of time this way. So let's go here. Group body. I know where my data is. Got all my things nice and named. It's not hard for me to find stuff. Okay, we're in header. And we're going to expand the group job board here. Header. And we want this. I want my two conditionals exposed. And we're going to use that to copy into the location one. Location header. All right, so we've got location. Let's also underline this like we did before. Underline, conditional. And we need two conditions here. Let's copy this over. Copy. Paste. Get sort from page URL is location ascending, not job title. Location ASC. And we'll take this, copy this down to here. Is location DEC. Change the text. I'm going to change the text. And we can just copy this over from our last one, so we don't have to redo it. All I got to do is copy my my arrow there. It's already taking, Bubble's already taking care of the location part for me. Nice. Repopulated that text input. Boom. All right, now we've got location. Down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. Job title, down, up, down, up, down, up. Notice my sort URL is changing. There's 4 different possible values now. Location. Yep, that's what we want. All right, cool. Last one. What do we got? 7:30? We got a good time. We did this fast. All right, let's do the open positions. I just want you to see that it works the same way regardless of whether it's a number or text, ascending and descending. Obviously, it means alphabetical versus numbers, numerical, the amount of the number, but it's the same concept. So ascending and descending also applies. All right, so let's do the last one. Do this quick. We'll go text. Drop that in here. And we'll call this again. We're going to borrow. Always borrow. Don't do double work. Text location descending. Text. Let's call it open. Open. We'll keep it simple. We don't want to have open positions. Text open position. This is the header. Date posted. We'll change this to open header. Okay, so let's build our workflow on the header part first. And just being super consistent, staying organized. This will be open ASC. And then we'll do the workflow on the open descending. And we'll just copy this over, copy, paste, and we'll change this to open DEC. All right, so again, make sure open ASC, good. Open ASC. Open DEC. Good. ASC, DSC, ASC, DEC. AC, DC. Okay. Now, again, we're going back to our repeating group. Repeating group software. Let's add these conditionals. All right, we're going to take this one, copy, paste, copy this one, copy, paste. I'm going to take open, ASC, open, DEC. And we're changing the data source. Same here. I'm going to copy this one, paste it down. You can see while it is tedious, if you do it once, pretty much set up here. You don't have to build the expressions by scratch every single time. Descending no, and then let's take this one. Copy expression, paste, sorted by jobs count. All right, let's make sure that works. All right, we've got open positions. Cool. That's ascending. Top to bottom. There we go. It works. All right, let's do our last align to parent container. Shift, right click, group element and align to container. Again, we're just going to rename this. And that's going to be open. Group location open. Group location, just group open. All right. Change our min and max widths here. 0, 0. Don't fit width to content. Let's see what the text elements are in here. We've got 0, 0. We don't want to fit height to content. Let's uncheck this. 0, 0. Don't fit to content. Okay. And then we're going to delete this. We are going to uncheck this element is visible on page load. We're going to center it. We're going to center it. And then for the final descending, we're going to add this conditional here. We can copy it from this. Final descending, paste, location, ASC. No, we want this to be open ASC. And then this element is visible and check it off. 3 times, 3 examples we did here. 3. Okay. Good, good, good. Let's just do the underlining. Fancy little text stuff that we got going. Let's keep it pretty. Group open text. Let's underline this. Underline. And then we're going to go to add 2 conditions. And we'll copy this over from, let's do it from the here. Get sort, copy expression. Oh, I'm losing it. I'm losing it. Where did it go? Here it is. Paste. Maybe we could just paste that twice. Is open ASC. Is open DEC. And then we're going to add our text condition, copy over the arrows from our text job title. I could have done this here. Oh, I closed the other one, didn't I? Oh, it's right here. I've lost myself. All right, here. down, and then the other one is up. Duplicating the editor. That is a pro move. Use that. Save yourself a ton of time. All right, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. Beautiful. We have sortable column headings. You can do this as many times as you want. We did that in what, 40 minutes? How long would that take to do in traditional code? I want to know. How long would that take? I imagine that's a pain in the ass. It's a pain in the ass here. And I did it in 40 minutes. How long would that take to do with traditional code? I don't know. Okay, so I think that's all I really want to do today. What did I want to say? I had something else I wanted to touch on. Oh, just the atomic fusion stuff. So like this, you can see this page is very nice. It's well designed. Pretty sure it's responsive. Right? Very nice page. How I got this is through Atomic Fusion. You'll notice that this is here. You have to install the Chrome extension for Atomic Fusion. And then you're able to pull in their UI kits and pages. And there's all sorts of great options for starting with a landing page. So normally I discourage templates. Oh, shit, I'm not showing. Sorry. Here, Atomic Fusion, and you can navigate through their different UI kits here. Normally, I recommend against templates, but the templates in here are very well built. The templates that come from the marketplace, I tend not to be able to work with. I don't know why. There's too many groups in them. They're pre the newer responsive engines, so they're harder to work with, in my opinion. But the Atomic Fusion ones are very easy to work with. I also love this plugin here, the Atomic Data, right? Because that's where this data is coming from. Now it's basically setting up. It's an API call, right? So it's pulling this data from probably from another Bubble database most likely. But it gives you some data to work with, so you don't have to create dummy data when trying to do things like this. All right, so Atomic Fusion, kick ass. I like it. Use it. And that's all for today. I'll catch you tomorrow at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. All right.